Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sara Lihz and I have a fun new technique to share with you today. We are going to make a shaker card that dances. These little ghosts spin back and forth. We're using the snap and slide elements from Pear Blossom Press. They're so easy to use. Like I cannot get over this. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting with my background. I have a 3D embossing folder and I'm just adding a little moisture to a piece of cardstock. This is the Damask embossing folder from Spellbinders. But my friends, we're really talking about a technique today. This is not about a Halloween card. This is not about this particular embossing folder or die set or anything like that. So hopefully there are lots of little tips and tricks you can take away from this. I didn't have a dark purple cardstock that was quite the color I wanted. So I went almost all the way up that panel with some medium purple ink. And then at the bottom, I'm actually coming in with a little bit of black. When I use my brush, it's going to go and get down in between those grooves a little bit, but I also wanted to add extra dimension on this. So I like a domed foam if I'm trying to add ink only to the top layer of my embossing folder. I want the black on there because I also want to sort of patina this. I'm bringing in some silver ink next. It's just a pigment ink and it will stand out a little bit better if it's going on top of black instead of going on top of purple, right? It's not a huge difference, but it's definitely there. Then I did come back in one more time with a little bit of black so it would look like sort of a burnished silver instead of a bright silver. For my decorations, my little dancing elements, this is the Boo Crew die set from Simon Hurley in conjunction with Spellbinders. It makes 3 ghosts that are so stinking cute. And then there's a whole bunch of accessories that you can add on top of it. I love that you can keep this really, really simple if you want to. So each of the ghosts has like the white sheet, and then there's a piece that will go just behind the bottom of it to create that sort of shadow, the ripple in the fabric. I'm talking about it like it's a costume, but in the ghost, there are teeny tiny little dies for pink cheeks, and I'm not doing that, guys. I don't have it in me. So I'm just using an Olo marker, an alcohol marker, whatever you have. There's a little deboss detail on the ghost to show you where the cheeks go. It's easy enough to just color them in. Then each ghost has a die that perfectly cuts a piece to put behind the face, so I don't have to paper piece in the little eyes and the mouths. So just one little die cut there, and I have the black pieces behind the face. From here, you can mix and match all their little accessory pieces. So we have a top hat, a bowler hat, I think it's called a bowler hat, a monocle, 2 pairs of glasses. We have a pumpkin pail so they can go trick-or-treating. We have a bow tie and a necktie. And then there are arms so they can hold all kinds of things, you guys. This is so stinking cute. Can I tell you a secret? For years, I avoided buying Halloween-themed products. It didn't matter how cute it was, and there's a ton of cute Halloween stuff out there. I just couldn't wrap my head around who I would give that card to. Like, why am I making this? What is it for? And so I've ultimately come to 2 conclusions. Number 1, just the making of the card is a kind of therapy for me. But number 2, there's no reason that Halloween products can't go on a birthday card. I've made it my mission the last couple of years to find ways to stretch all of my Halloween supplies and to make like custom sentiments that sort of tease people about the Grim Reaper coming for them. Or I hope your birthday is the sheet, which is the sentiment that we're going to use today. So just know I am on a mission to find ways to use all these supplies. In the end, I only had room for 2 of our ghosts on this card, but I did make another card that's in a different video with a 3rd ghost. I am adding an arm onto just one of them because he's going to hold our little pumpkin pail. So I'm going to stick a little glue on the back of his hand and put that on the handle. And then I'm going to turn it ever so slightly so that it overlaps his ghost body. That way I can glue it in a second place. And it's just a little sturdier because it's an interactive swinging element. For my shaker, I have a pre-made acetate shaker pouch. This one measures 4 by 5 1/4, and it's on the thinner side, okay? So I am sort of holding my ghosts over the top of this panel and putting a little mark right behind the centers of their faces. And then I have a 1/4 inch die. It's the same size as a standard hole punch, and I'm running that through my die cutting machine. I have some shaker pouches that are thicker. Like I have some from Trinity Stamps and I really love them, but I couldn't get the die to go all the way through. So look for a thinner pouch, or sometimes I'll use like a transparency sheet. I'm a teacher, right? I still have these. That's about the same thickness. You cannot use recycled packaging for this one. It will not work. To get ready to add my shaker pouch, I have put double-sided adhesive tape all around the outside edges of the back of our panel. It's 4 by 5 1/4, or rather slightly smaller than that. And then I'm going to remove the protective film. Mine has film on both sides, right? I'm sort of holding it here over our panel and it's still cloudy, so I know there's a second layer of protective film. Some of the pouches I have only have film on one side, so you'll have to look and see. And then I'm going to grab my snap and slides. I need 2 pairs, right? So they have coordinating pairs. They're like a little button that snaps together. And then I have sticky spots that I got from Pear Blossom Press that are perfect for putting these together. So I'm going to put a sticky spot on the back of one of these and I'm going to add it to the center back of one of the faces. I want these to swing from their heads. That sounds weird, but it's what I want. As opposed to from the middle of their body. If the top is heavier than the bottom, then it's going to hang upside down, okay? I will say later on, I'm going to go back in and put another layer of the ghost behind it so the die cut is just sturdier because it is a moving element. Then I put the other half of the snap through the hole and I just snap them together, right? So I'll hold it there, I'll bring this in and it just snaps and you can feel it snap into place. And then I'll check the movement and these dance better than any other dancing element I've made before. Before I remove that backing for my double-sided adhesive, I'm going to go around the edges and I'm going to fold up the sides. There is a score line there to help me, but I still find it's easier to make sure I've really folded them before I start this process. Once that tape is off, I'm going to tuck this all the way down to the bottom. And then I'm going to fold that acetate onto the adhesive. Because my purple panel is slightly smaller than the opening, what it's going to do is create a more rounded bubble on the front. That is really, really helpful if you're going to use the snap and slides on a shaker. Alternatively, you could use foam tape to create a shaker with a heavy duty acetate and cut little circle holes into that acetate instead. But I love that this is sort of a how did they do that situation because it's an edge to edge shaker. I'm using sparkle spots from Trinity Stamps to fill up my shaker element. I have lime, grape, and white sparkle spots. And then I have this new mix for the holidays. This is the Little Boo embellishment mix, and it has some bigger ghosts and smaller ghosts, some little white clay hearts and dots, and some very sparkly stars, and like, I call them unicorn sparkles, like little twinkle spots. So cute. But I actually just pulled out 5 of the little ghosts. They're like dancing around, kind of hidden in our mix. Then I'm going to try to get everything a little bit flat in there. I'll remove that last bit of adhesive backing and fold in the last part of our shaker. And we have tons of shakety shake, sparkly sparkle back there. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my goodness, my ghosts are on the wrong side. They weren't moving as well as I wanted because the one kept running into the jack-o'-lantern pumpkin pail of the other. So these sticky spots are very sticky and gooey. I will say by the next day, they had sort of like stuck a little differently. I don't think I could have peeled them off by the next day, but this first day it had only been about 10 minutes maybe, and I was able to very carefully peel those up. I'm adding an extra layer of 100-pound cardstock back behind my ghost just because they are moving elements. So then I peeled off the sticky spot and I added new ones, and I will just add my ghosts back on there in the correct order. And now they move a little bit better because that pumpkin pail isn't in the way. I have a piece of A2 black cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going around the edges with a black glitter pen. That way I don't have to use an entire panel of specialty cardstock, but this still will have some extra shine on it. Scrapbook.com has these pens in all the colors, and I love them. For our sentiment, I'm using the Cutie Halloween strip sentiments from Sassy's LLC. That's me. And this one says, I hope your birthday is the sheet. And I'm just going to go around the outside edges with a marker because this is black printed on white cardstock. I just use the tick marks to cut them all out, but then this way it looks like it's on black cardstock. And I'm going to layer that up a couple of times. So I just have some extra strips of 1/4 inch black cardstock, and I will glue that behind there and trim off the excess. Then for a mat, I have a 3/8 inch strip of pink cardstock. I added a little glitter brush on that one, just a clear brush this time. And that will create a tiny little border all the way around the outside edges of my sentiment. I've really been loving adding pink into my Halloween mixes. And this is the first time I've added it with all of our other Halloween colors, our green, purple, and orange, and I really like it. To add this onto our A2 panel, I am adding more double-sided tape over top of the acetate, right? Can you glue acetate with wet glue? Yes, but it's more likely to come up in my experience. This way, I'll get that immediate stick from the double-sided adhesive, but I'm also going to add some wet glue over the top just so I get a little bit of wiggle room, right? That liquid, the glue, lets it hydroplane for just a minute and slide around a little bit. And then as soon as you press down with any force, that double-sided adhesive grabs. And I want to make sure I'm getting a lovely margin around the outside edge. If it weren't for the fact that the shaker pouch has kind of an odd edge to it, your Pear Blossom Press A7 T-square would be a great way to lay this down and create that 1/8 inch border all the way around. I tried that at first, but was kind of struggling with it because of the shaker pouch. I'm going to add a little wet glue onto the back of our sentiment, and actually I left it there to dry for about 2 minutes. Then I picked it up and added it onto my shaker pouch, and that just gives that glue a little chance to get tacky and to not ooze out from behind our sentiment. My friends, I hope that this is a new technique for you, that this inspires you to try something. Let me know in the comments below if you have any of the snap and slides. I just think that they're brilliant and so easy to use. Plus, we have a shaker. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more Pear Blossom Press inspiration. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.